here with Matthew Morrison, who is the writer of Dance, which is going to be performed at the King's Head Theatre from the 12th to the 17th of July. Hi, Matt. Looking at your work as a writer, it seems like your main focus is on playwriting. Why is that your medium of choice? And what do you think is the significance of theatre in society?
I think that I got into writing after acting. So writing was playwriting was the most natural thing for me to do, having worked as an actor. And I think that playwriting particularly appeals to me because it I was sort of quite interested in sort of politics and stuff as well when I was growing up. And there's something very immediate about theatre in terms of it's always speaking to the now. Theatre is really about the present tense. Whenever you go into a theatre, you're always in the present tense with what's going on stage. You can't go in and watch a play historically. You can sort of be in the room with characters from the past, but you're all in the same time period in this sort of strange way. So I really love the way that theatre speaks to people today, and that's why, for me as a writer, that's the most interesting form.
Okay. Your play Dance addresses important themes like the impact of social media on mental health, as well as online bullying. How did you approach those sensitive topics in your writing process?
I think that's a really good question, actually. And the honest truth is, I'm not sure that I did go in with an approach. And I don't actually think I knew that that's what I was writing about until the play emerged. I think I was interested in the two characters, and I was interested in, I won't sort of say what it is, but the thing that goes so badly wrong for the main characters in the play. I knew that, and I wanted to write about that. And then I sort of just followed the characters in a way, followed where their responses were going to take them. And at the end, I realised that I was addressing those issues quite directly, but it wasn't my first thought going into it. Although, as a writer, I have always been very interested in bullying, I suppose, and the different ways in which people can be unkind to each other, sometimes deliberately, but also sometimes just casually, just because there hasn't been enough thought going into things.
Hmm. So, social media, full of opportunities or a dangerous tool? What is your take on that?
It's a good question, isn't it? Because is there even an answer to it? I mean, I think that it can be used for great things and it can be used for terrible things. And I suppose, as like almost anything, it's about the motivation of the people using it or designing it, or if people are just trying to sell you things or kind of control you in some way, then I think that's going to be very damaging. But then it's also a place where people who previously mightn't have found their communities very easily can come together, and in that sense, social media can be completely brilliant. So it's about using it with care, and I think a lot of people don't use it with care, and that's where the problems
Mm.
develop from.
Hmm. Did you originally write Dance for stage or for Zoom? And how did that affect your writing?
Well, interestingly, it was originally written for the stage, and then because we went into lockdown last year, um, I had to sort of rework it for an online platform. And what's lovely about bringing it back to the stage now is that one of the things I was interested in was the difference between the temporary feeling of a play, the feeling that a play fades or changes in the memory, versus the kind of permanence of anything that's recorded and there forever. So, although in the online version we reworked the script in what I thought was a really interesting way, my first interest was the theatrical version and the way that these two different sort of ways of telling stories, the kind of permanent and the transitory, could kind of come into conflict with each other.
And in your opinion, what are the biggest challenges one faces adapting an online play for stage?
Well, again, it's interesting because this sort of worked in the other way round, in that I wrote it for the play and then adapted it for online, and now sort of taking it back. I think the challenge for adapting anything for the stage is to find the theatricality, find what makes it theatrical, and sometimes that's quite a difficult thing to explain. But I think it means thinking about what the theatre brings, what the experience of being in the theatre is, and making sure that you're writing as best as you can sort of meets those particular requirements. So in a theatre, it's live. Usually, of course, online theatre is different, but when you go into a theatre physically, there's a particular type of liveness that's really interesting. Unlike writing a novel, which is often very solitary, in theatre, you're writing for your director, for your lighting designer, your musician, the actors, and so on. And in a sense, you want your play to create the space for all of those people to get involved and to bring their creativity to it. So you try to find a theatrical language that welcomes all of those different creative participants. And that's what you're trying to do when you write a play from scratch, or if you're trying to adapt a play, I think.
All right. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Nice to talk to you.
Dance like you and me.